Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way. And today I'm joined by Brendan, who is going to be talking with me about what is a very, very controversial issue in the Watford fan base at the moment. Of course, thanks, Brendan, for coming on today. But let's get straight into it, Brendan. And today we're going to be talking about Xisco Muñoz and whether he is the right man for the job. So first of all, I want to get your thoughts on how Xisco has done so far, really. And he's obviously been here for over a month now, and he's managed quite a few games. He obviously come in and he had quite a few tough fixtures, didn't he, against Norwich, Manchester United, Swansea. So he has had quite a tough start. But what have you made of Xisco so far, and what he's brought to the table at Watford?
First of all, we play a lot of games, so we have seen a lot of what the manager wants, what kind of football he likes to play. I think in the first games he coming in, it was like, okay, we need a goal soon as possible in the game. So that was his tactic, I think. And after that, if you score a goal, you need to defend that goal for your life. So that first games, I think we win the first 3 games with him, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was something like that. We definitely won the Norwich game, which was obviously really, really good, and a lot of Watford fans were really positive after that.
We lost to Swansea.
Lost at Swansea, which I thought was a good performance, but obviously
unlucky.
We did, and then I think after that we went away to Manchester United.
That was not a bad game at all from our side. I think the goal McTominay made it was a kind of lucky goal. Hit it well, but coming into the post very slow, and just unlucky for Buckman. He didn't get that one. But I think the first games we're playing under the new manager Xisco. Or Xisco, I don't know what you what you like, but if you look to that first games, it was like, okay, there was a fresh air coming into the squad, and maybe get some new ideas with the new manager. But I think later on, when we coming to games against teams from the right end of the table, everyone likes to win that games. That's the most important games, winning against teams who are not doing well. But it looks like Watford give the teams where we play against, who are not doing well, give a momentum, and after we visit them or they visit us, they get a momentum with winning games and things like that. So that's difficult to find out where the problem is. Is it at the team, at the players, or is it at the manager?
Yeah, I think that's a good point there. And obviously, we just played 2 games against teams that are at the bottom end of the table, where they are struggling in the Championship, and they're fighting against relegation. Quite frankly, we've played Millwall, Coventry, QPR, who all of them are struggling this season at the moment. And in most of them games, we have been pretty much outplayed throughout, and it's a little bit concerning that this Watford team, can't turn it on against what is, on
what you like to see,
worse opposition than us.
Yeah. If you see the last game against Coventry City, it was like they had the mind to play a different game than us. They don't have the players to play like they did last time. So that you see at Millwall as well. Okay, it was unlucky we didn't score, but if you play on a not proper pitch, on a pitch your dog is walking on when you're going out, for example, it was that awful. But then you need to second plan, like in plan B. Okay, we need to fight for this point. Not balls over the ground and things like that. No, push it forward, throw it into the box, and try to score. But you see, Watford is struggling with that. Watford wants to play. I think that's the mind to play Premier League football, to going up soon as possible. But the problem is you can't play Premier League football in the Championship, because the Championship is, for me, it looks like it's more tougher than the Premier League, because in the Premier League there are teams who more try to play attacking football and things like that. And in Championship, it's a lot of fighting. It's a lot of long balls into the box. Try to score. Just try to score, because every team wants to go up. Every team, even if they are this season in the right end of the table at the bottom, and they just stay up. They try to, like Bristol City, they try still. Last season they nearly go down, but this season they still try to going up. That is a Championship, club thinking. And that's why it's tough to play Premier League football, because everybody's fighting for the points.
Yeah, I think that's good that you mentioned there about playing Championship football and then playing Premier League football, because I think the quality is obviously very different. Obviously, in the Premier League, you've got teams like Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea. These are very technical teams on the ball. Whereas in the Championship, I think it's such a contrast. And we've obviously been in the Premier League for the last 5 years before we got relegated. And I think maybe, I don't know what you think about this, Brendan, but is it a player mentality issue where they've been in the Premier League for so long, battling against relegation, and then now suddenly they are required to try and challenge to win the title and go back up? And is that shift in mentality of battling against relegation to trying to win the Championship, is that what's causing the issues at the moment? Because I personally think that must be playing a factor, because a lot of these players have been playing for clubs that aren't expected to do well in their careers, and suddenly they're expected to go straight back up to the Premier League. So do you think that's potentially an issue with the mentality in the squad?
It must be a fact, because if you look to our players, there are players like Ismail Assar, young player, Petro just coming in last season, of course. We got Trose Kung, not the youngest, but okay, he's not dealing. Most of the players are not dealing with the pressure from the fans and from the club to go up. What you say, like last 5 years we play Premier League football, and when you are playing against relegation, or when you have a good season like the first three, I remember we are like 3 games before the end, we are kindly safe, so you can play up the games easily and just relax. But it's a difference to play against relegation than to play for promotion, because playing against relegation, it's a lot of pressure, of course, but every week you got a new chance. And playing for promotion, you need to take every chance. Let's say you need to win every game, or you can't lose any game. So that's another pressure on the players. I think there must be something in the mentality there. But after half a season in the Championship, you can deal with that. Throw it away. Just play your game, and just follow the tactics if there are tactics, of course.
If there are tactics, and I think that kind of leads us on to the tactics that Xisco has been playing. And I found it quite funny when the club sacked Vladimir Ivic, they sacked him, and one of the reasons they listed was that the football we played, wasn't good enough, wasn't forward thinking enough. We weren't creating as many chances as the club maybe thought we should be with the players that we've got at our disposal. And when Xisco came in, he was kind of like labelled as a very free-flowing advertising coach. But on reflection, Brendan, and watching the games that you've watched so far of Xisco, is he a attacking coach, or is he a lot more defensively minded than you maybe first thought? Because you mentioned earlier in the video that he tends to go 1 goal up and doesn't really go for it after that. He tends to sit back a little bit. Is that something that Xisco needs to change with the players that we've got? We've got really, really talented forward players, Pedro, Sarr, Zinkernagel. Does he need to be getting more out of them players? And do the tactics need to change, especially the formation that we're playing at the moment?
I think in the games he started, it was like against teams who giving space. So they are attacking and they're giving space away in the counter attack, or um, leaving a lot of spaces because they like to football as well, like to quick play and things like that. But if you play against teams who are not playing quick, are just fighting, what I just say like three minutes ago, I think. But I think that's as well a difference for your formation and for the players you putting in. I think when you have very technical players against a technical team, you need to play. They need to play. Um, but you're not. If you play against QPR or Barnsley, you need to try to be the team that wants to attack. But you can't put like just saying Gray and Dini both in forward. You need to try maybe Dini Zincanago or Petro Zincanago. Just try something else because he's now every time starting with Troy or Gray, but just try somebody else. Just get somebody else in forwards to try something out. If it not works, you change it directly back to before. If it works, you are the legend manager for example. But I think we need to more go to attacking, not to sit back. If you look now, we are don't have that technical players that have in the midfield the idea to how you say it to open up the defender.
To open up space.
Creating, yeah. We have not a very creating midfielder because Will Hughes, if he's coming on, he is used as a midfield defender for me.
Well, Brendan, let me play devil's advocate with you because I think we do have a creative midfielder, and I think that player is Philip Zinchenko. But I just don't think that he's been here. He's been here for a month, and he's not really been used at all. He's been used for 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. He did start against Manchester United, but that's all the game time he's got. So, do you think that for us to get into them automatic promotion places and obviously we need to create more chances for our forward players. Do we need to play Zinchenko from the start of games now? Because a lot of Watford fans are getting frustrated with that lack of creativity, as you mentioned. Is it time for him to start games, in the midfield or out on the wings?
Yeah, of course. We need a player who's creative, who open up the defenders, who giving spaces to the attackers, to the wingers, maybe to the fullbacks who are coming up from the wings. We see that in 2014 on the World Championship with the Netherlands. It works. Some attacking backs coming up and create as well some space. But for example, if I look to a other small club in the Netherlands, Sparta, they got Abdul Harawi. He's a very creative player. If you take him out, you directly see the difference between he's in and between he's out. I think the same can happen if you put Zinchenko on. He is, if you see the numbers from his former club, he's very creative. He can score. He can give the lovely passes to Troy or to Petro or to Saar. Doesn't matter who's in forwards, but if you get a good base who's sending the passes and things like that, like Wesley Sneijder did and Messi, big names. But if you have a player who have the mind of thinking like Sneijder or Messi, you've got may you become champion. It's far away.
I think if Watford had Lionel Messi, we would become champions. However, Watford do not have Lionel Messi.
No, we don't.
We have Philip Zinchenko instead. So hopefully, Philip Zinchenko can replicate Lionel Messi in a way.
Yeah.
That's very wishful thinking from you there, Brendan. One of the last issues I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on today is kind of this whole idea of player power at Watford FC, and I'm sure you agree that we've gone through a lot of managers lately, last season and this season. Is player power now becoming an issue, and has it been an issue for a long time? Because we've seen the players down tools under Vladimir Ivic. Adam Leventhal, I don't know if anyone watching saw in the week, but he released an article saying that there is disharmony, in the Watford squad.
Yeah.
Is player power now becoming a real issue? And are there senior pros within the squad, such as Troy Deeney, Tom Cleverley? Do you think that these players are having too much power over managerial appointments and who starts games? Because someone like Troy, someone like Andre Gray, they're not really warming up to standard yet they're still starting games. So is player power now becoming a real issue within the squad, do you think?
Yeah, I think the let's say, first of all, Xisco have a really good mood every time. If you look at his videos, it's always Sweet Caroline on or things like that. I think the mood of the squad is more better than we've got with Vladimir Ivic. But what you say, there are big players like Cleverley, like Troy, like Ben. There are 3 players who got a lot of games. I think we can say Will Hughes as well at the moment, 100 games for Watford FC. So you got a few players who are dominating in the group. That must be.
And I think every football club has a few players who are the leadership group and dominate. But I think the issue with Watford fans is that we've been through so many managers, and the hierarchy at Watford, Gino Pozzo, Scott Duxbury, they always replace the head coach, but the actual playing issues with the players we've got at our disposal, they aren't addressed. And I think that's the concern with the Watford fans is do we keep replacing head coach after head coach and hoping that one day we'll find the right person? Or do some of these players need to buck up their ideas and put in better performances? Because they are Premier League players, and a lot of people externally outside of Watford call them Premier League players, but at the moment they aren't putting in them Premier League performances. So that must be a player issue rather than a managerial issue, because as we said, we've gone through so many managers. And do you think that model of sacking managers when the going gets tough, do you think that has to change within the club?
You can't sacking managers every time. That is not the way you will get a healthy club. Like Nigel Pearson said, Watford get an unhealthy reputation or culture when they every 5 months throwing out their manager like it's rubbish. There must be changed something. I think Troy Deeney, his last time with Vladimir Ivic going out, he was on talking with the manager. I think Troy is the good player to send to a manager what the group is thinking, but there must be changed something in the group. Like I think some players thinking, okay, if we lose, it's a problem, but I not will go out of this club. The manager will be the first one who will go out. I think that need to change. I would not say names, but I think there are a few players have the mind like that. Like, okay, if we lose, it's rubbish for us. It's not like what we want, but it's the manager's his problem.
Yeah.
So I think that need to change, but I don't know which players are that. But there must be a few players. Otherwise, this Watford will not sacked that lot of managers that we did in last about 2 years. I think it's already starting about when we lost the FA Cup, if I remember. I think in 2 years, how many managers we've got? 5 or
I think more than that. I think maybe 6 or 7 we've got through. You got to think Nigel Pearson, Javi
yeah,
Gracia, Hayden Mullins for a short time, Vladimir Ivic, Xisco, a
we're already
lot of
on 5.
managers. Yeah, exactly. And I think this has been a very, very interesting discussion today, Brendan. I just want to ask you one more question before we go, and it's quite a big question. So if you can't answer it properly, do not worry. But are you a Xisco in or are you a Xisco out? Because on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere at the moment, there's a lot of debate whether Xisco's right man for the job. So I'll give my thoughts first, and then Brendan can follow after me. So I think that Xisco, as Brendan said, he loves to play Sweet Caroline. He's a very, very happy guy. And I think that's what we need at Watford. We need a man motivator, someone who can keep the players happy. However, I think Xisco is also out of his depth completely. I think that his previous managerial experience was very limited in Georgia, and this appointment seems like it was done to save money rather than to get us promoted. Because you look at some of the other managers that are available, your Eddie Howe's, your Frank Lampard's, people like this, you know, are what I'm trying to say is, have we appointed Xisco just to keep the players happy and to keep them on side, or have we appointed Xisco to get us promoted? And you know, from what I've seen from Xisco so far, the tactics, the substitutions, what he's been saying in the media, I just don't think he's the right man, unfortunately. And it's a real shame that we might have to sack yet another manager. And I don't blame Xisco at all, because, as I said, he's completely out of his depth. But unfortunately, I think Xisco, if he doesn't get results in the next couple of games, I think that we've got no choice but to let him go, unfortunately. So, Brendan, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm like completely agree with you. He's bringing a good mood in the squad, in the team. He's always happy. One good thing about him, he's taking all. If we lose, he's taking all the responsibility on him. That is the best what a manager can do. But yeah, what to say, in or out? I think technically he's not the man, because he is that how you say it,
Inexperienced.
Inexperienced. That is the word I'm searching for. Because he had only Dynamo Tbilisi. So yeah, that is so quick to go to Watford with the pressure to get promoted directly and things like that. But I want to ask you, what was the manager from Bournemouth last time?
Howe.
Yeah, I think he will be a right man at Watford, because I think he is positive vibes. He played well football at Bournemouth, like we did, and I already see the memes with Spider-Man. So Watford and Bournemouth, you are me, you are me. Yeah, you know, you know that meme. But I think he will be a good man if they will sack Xisco. But I think you need Xisco stay at the club, like a assistant manager, or I think that was the better way to do it, to sign the other manager and to get Xisco like a assistant manager to learn, and then when the other manager leaves, Xisco coming up, and he's got like, okay, I know what to do, I know the club, I knew the club, so things like that. But not forget, to get a manager, to be a manager, you need a license from the UEFA. So yeah, he knew what he's doing like a manager, but let's hope he or Watford will try what I'm just saying. Just give him a chance, like a assistant manager, or bring him to the youth, and bring somebody in to the first club. And when that one's going out, Xisco is the man to be. Maybe that's
Brendan,
my opinion.
Thank you very much for coming on today. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this discussion as well. Something a little bit different, rather than just me sitting on my own in front of the camera. I thought I'd bring Brendan on just to have a little bit more discussion, a little bit more conversation between us. So let me know what your thoughts on Xisco are in the comments below. And Brendan, where can everybody find you on social media?
You can find like me and us on Watford FC the Netherlands, WFCNL, and on Twitter we are with Watford FC the Netherlands, but we are a partnership with the Belgium Hornets, and you can find us on Banner Hornets on Twitter. So give it a follow, and yeah, come on Watford, come on, get to the come on boys, up the horns.
I think that's the right message to leave this video on. So again, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll be back on Thursday with your preview for our next match, which is really, really exciting. And yeah, hope you guys are all staying safe. Hope you're all doing well, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.